Well, it's Friday. For me at 5 a.m, the weekend starts. Maybe it does for you if you're a night shift worker, or maybe it will for you if you're in lockdown. Stay safe. I hope you're all well, you and yours. And we've got some recommendations for you now about how you might fill the weekend, because there's no sport around, is there? But there are movies. Movies on TV, movies for free. And our guide through that particular jungle, that maze of opportunity, is our main man each and every Friday, one of the country's leading film critics, Mr. Van Connor. Good morning, Van. And how are you and yours, first of all? Are you safe? Are you well?
I'm losing my mind slowly from the solitude and isolation that's driving me to the brink of despair, but other than that, I'm just happy to talk to you, Mr. Ross, as always.
And thank you for sharing your recommendations. 3 from me, 3 from you. Let's start with your first one, and this is kind of, I would call it a new hope, but it's not really. It's like a new dawn, wasn't it, for the Star Wars franchise?
It's a revitalised hope is what it is. It's J.J. Abrams' 2015 Star Wars franchise reboot, Star Wars The Force Awakens, which is on tonight on ITV at 7:30. It's got the new cast, it's got the old cast, so you've got the returning likes of Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher. They're back, along with a new crop that include John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, and Oscar Isaac. And the idea here is that you've got, the young recruits who have to set off on an adventure to find the long-lost Luke Skywalker with the help of a droid. It all sounds so familiar, but I've got a clip for you of Harrison Ford being led by John Boyega, along with Chewie, to blow up the Starkiller base.
It's ITV tonight. It's real quality. Let's have the clip.
The flooding tunnel's over that ridge. We'll get in that way.
What was your job when you were based here?
Sanitation.
Sanitation? Then how do you know how to disable the shields?
I don't. I'm just here to get Ray.
People are counting on us. The galaxy is counting on us.
Solo, we'll figure it out. We'll use the Force.
That's not how the Force works. Oh, really? You're cold?
Come on.
Great film, this, and I think while he was making it, John Boyega tells a story that he took Harrison Ford out for a curry down the Old Kent Road in South East London, which is a lovely image, isn't it? You're there after the pub, you open the doors, and there's Harrison Ford, there's Indiana Jones, there's Han Solo having a curry in your local curry house. Great movie, this one. My recommendation is slightly different. It cost £4.5 million, released in 1984. The franchise it spawned has grossed so far around $500 million. There were 2 TV series I've not seen, an animated series which ran for 50, 60 episodes. It is, of course, I bet you saw this too young. Rather rude, rather saucy, very funny still. Real slapstick knockabout stuff. It's the first Police Academy film, Van. Did you like this movie?
I'll be a huge fan of the Police Academy series, with soft spots including Police Academy 5, Assignment Miami Beach, and Police Academy 7, Mission to Moscow, with Ron Perlman as the villain.
Of course, Mr. Hellboy himself, and we've got in this one Steve Guttenberg, Kim Cattrall from Sex and the City. Let's have the trailer.
Crime. The city was full of it.
Hey! Free TV!
Desperate measures were needed.
Want you to go to the police academy.
The police academy is such a dangerous place.
Honey, don't worry.
Desperate measures were taken.
I'm joining the police force! Ah!
The mayor says we have to take this riffraff.
I'm trapped here?
Oh, yes. We all are.
What about guns? When do we get guns?
You will be schooled in firearms, police procedures, local laws, and many, many other things.
And many, many other things. Such a great movie, this one. How old were you when you first saw it, Van? Because it's really meant to be kind of 16, 17, 18 and above. How old were you?
I think I was about 9 years old when I saw my first 2 Police Academy movies. But like I say, they do get progressively more family-friendly as they go. Because I think, I'm sure Steve Guttenberg's out of them after the 4th one, I think, and then it becomes a game of replace the lead every time. But I'm sure with the loss of Steve Guttenberg, they do become decidedly more PG rated.
Yes, ever so slightly less saucy. That's ITV4. That's tonight. It's 9 o'clock from 1984. Let's look at tomorrow now, and you've got a belter for us. It's very rare that a sequel, I think, is better than the original. I'm thinking Bride of Frankenstein. I'm thinking possibly Godfather 2. You've chosen, though, the sequel to The Fugitive, the Harrison Ford version. Tell us about US Marshals, Van.
So, obviously, it's insane that you would make a sequel to The Fugitive, full stop. But, of course, the way to go with with that is because it made so much money, and it got an Oscar nomination for Tommy Lee Jones as, you know, the US Marshal who's hunting Harrison Ford in that movie. So the idea became, let's just make a movie of that and just replace The Fugitive. We can have another Fugitive. It's fine. And so that's what they've done. US Marshals, only this time, the US Marshals team, as led by Sam Gerard, you know, the Oscar-nominated role for Tommy Lee Jones, they are on the hunt of a rogue spy, as played by Wesley Snipes, who's on a mission to clear his name. It seems to be a pattern with this team.
It's also a film that features a pre-Iron Man Robert Downey Jr. as a rather shifty, don't trust him because he's a CIA agent, Robert Downey Jr. You've got a clip for us. Tell us about that.
So I've got a clip for you, and this is, you know what, this is Tommy Lee Jones proving just why he deserved that Oscar nomination and why you'd craft a spin-off entirely around this character.
Here we go.
All right, gentlemen, could I have your attention, please? We are going to divide up and search this swamp. One law enforcement officer with each one of you. Which one of you knows the most about this terrain? All right, which one of you is the ugliest, most inbred country son of a bitch out here? You come with me.
It's a great performance, isn't it? I mean, his charisma just kind of crackles off the screen there. So that's US Marshals. When can we see that? That's tomorrow, isn't it, Van?
So yeah, you can find that tomorrow night, Saturday night, ITV4 at 10 p.m. Well worth checking out.
Before that, though, 1:55 on Channel 5. Again, a nice way to spend the afternoon. We have got the film from 1991. It made almost $500 million, cost $48 million. Kevin Costner, Morgan Freeman, Van Connor, Everything I Do It Just For You. I'm talking Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, one of the great films of the early 1990s. Let's have the trailer.
There was a time when the only way to uphold justice was to break the law.
It's also got this, Van, a blink and you'll miss it cameo by Jack Wilde of Artful Dodger from Oliver fame. So a great old movie, this, isn't it? And you were saying it's quite an important film, a significant film in kind of Hollywood marketing history.
It is. It's I think it's the second in what would become a line of, you know, genre-defining blockbuster tentpole movies that began with Batman in 1989. This idea of let's chuck all the money at it, summer blockbuster. Robin Hood was the second one. We were meant to have a repeat of this in 1993-94 with Disney's The Three Musketeers, but it just never took off. And they even went to the extreme of not only getting Bryan Adams back to do the theme song, but they gave him Rod Stewart to work with as well. I mean, wow. I mean, and Sting.
And Sting, that's what they still, yeah.
Sting and Bryan Adams. Yeah.
Still didn't quite make the money of either Batman, the fantastic Batman with Michael Keaton, or Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. That's my recommendation. That's 5 to 2 tomorrow afternoon on Channel 5. And I've got 5 to 3, Film 4 Sunday, the start of an amazing franchise. It was the first of 31 films, okay? It was made in 1958. It wasn't meant to be the start of a series, but it became that way, a British institution, also big in the States. It is, of course, the first carry-on film, Carry On Sergeant, featuring the usual suspects. You've got Charles Hawtrey, Kenneth Connor, Kenneth Williams, Hattie Jakes, but the lead is also the very first Doctor Who, William Hartnell. A lovely black and white film, this one, from the days of National Service, when anyone might be called up into the army. Let's have the trailer. 5 to 3, Sunday afternoon, Carry On Sergeant. Attention!
Out of a horse's foot. I've always wanted one of these. Medical. A farce. A criminal farce. Me. A flaming one. I'll tell you, mate. 2 of everything you should have 2 of, and you're in.
If you've never been doubled up before, if you've never lost your breath laughing, we warn you it could happen now.
Get your hair cut in the morning.
As you watch a bunch of physical jerks, a proper shower of misbegotten misfits who never miss a trick.
Now, I'm a quiet, reasonable, humane man. I know. My mother told me. Oh, yes, I had a mother and a father, even though I'm a sergeant.
Can I report sick, please?
William Hartnell as Sergeant Grimshaw. Shirley Eaton as Mary, a honey pining for a honeymoon, just married to a ripe Charlie, Bob Monkhouse.
You want leave to get married, do you?
Oh, no, sir, no, sir. It's just that I want to arrange things.
It's weird that, because Shirley Eaton, of course, was the woman who ends up being painted gold, fatally in Goldfinger. Terry Scott's in this film as well, Van, but he didn't make another Carry On for 10 years, till 1968. But a great old movie. I know I prefer the Carry Ons more than you do, but this is a slice of cinema history, this, I think, isn't it?
Absolutely. The thing that always amazes me, actually, with the very early Carry On films is it's not about the core Carry On cast. In those cases. They tend to have outside actors as well.
Like Bob Monkhouse, of course, the great and late Bob Monkhouse. And you're ending with something. Now, you normally pick a rom-com for us, don't you? Something light, something sweet, something fluffy. Is that how you're ending our recommendations this week?
No, this week I'm ending on a very different note. This week I'm going full badass on you. I'm giving you From Dusk Till Dawn, the 1996 intended George Clooney breakout vehicle. It never quite panned out that way, for obvious reasons. But this is George Clooney's sort of big movie debut effort in a movie written by Tarantino, directed by Robert Rodriguez, also co-starring Tarantino as well. Tarantino and George Clooney are fugitive brothers who are on the run. They take a family hostage, but of course there's something of a vampiric twist to come as well, and I've got a clip for you of Clooney laying down the law with the patriarch of his family of hostages, a disgraced preacher who's down on his faith, played by Harvey Keitel.
What a cast. Let's have the clip.
You are stuck in a situation with a couple of real mean motor scooters, and I don't want to have to worry about you all you know, and I don't think you want to be worrying about my brother's intentions towards your daughter all night either. Did you notice the way that he was looking at her?
Yes.
You didn't like it, did you?
No, I didn't.
I didn't think so. You get us into Mexico, and you don't try to escape. And your daughter will be safe, and in the morning I will let you go. I give you my word, Jacob.
If he touches her, I'll kill him.
Fair enough. You break your word, I'll kill all of you.
Wow, it's an intense film. We should warn people, it's also very, very full on as far as the violence goes, but a cracking movie, that one, man. And there were sequels to that as well, weren't there, which I've never seen.
I think there were two direct-to-video sequels. The second one actually is the sequel. The third one is a prequel that sets up how the Vampiric Club was founded. But more prominently in recent years, there has been, and Robert Rodriguez has been actively involved with it, a TV series adaptation that expands the first season is literally the first movie, and then it sort of expands the story beyond that. And it is quite interesting, to be fair.
6 great recommendations there. We hope you agree. The dirty half dozen from me, Paul Ross and Van Connor. And when are you back available to be listened to, you and Rebecca Perfect, with your guide to movies that are around or movies on TV? What's happening with that, Van?
You'll be able to find us as of next Friday on podcast platforms with a newly coronavirus modified off-screen show specialising on the things you can catch on TV and on streaming and on video and Blu-ray for whilst the cinemas are shut.
Brilliant stuff, Van. Always appreciate it. Let's talk again next Friday. Van Connor with his recommendations for the weekend with me, Paul Ross, on talkSPORT Extra Time, and that's a wrap.